Dolphins fan. Let's go! What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are about 40 hours away from kickoff, 40 hours or so. And oh boy, what a game we are going to be in store for this weekend. Hopefully, could be a potentially special matchup. The best matchup the NFL has had on the schedule thus far this season, hands down. And hell, how many times have we said that with the Dolphins already? I know we said that with the Philly game, but we're saying it again only a few weeks later with the Kansas City Chiefs game. So let's get that dub. Let's get that dub. Appreciate all you for coming through. Do me the favor, smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. We had a fantastic month last month, over 600 new subscribers as we close in on 13K. You know, that's my lucky number. That's the Marino number. And I want to get there, man. So we're about 127 away from 13K. So let's get there. If you haven't checked out the show yesterday with me and Omar, go check it out. I honestly think, are you going to find a better conversation on the internet between two people that cover the Miami Dolphins right now. I don't know if you will. I really don't know. Great conversation yesterday. Cover 4 podcast. We do it once a month, and so we'll be doing it next month as well. So make sure, well, technically it will be twice in November if you think about it. So appreciate all you. Shout out to Justin Dunker. He said, guess who's driving up to Frankfurt tomorrow? Enjoy, my friend. Enjoy. So, and Mike Vera with the real, he letting y'all know what the deal is because I had a conversation about it today. Remember the time change on Sunday. We're going back an hour. Remember, what's the old saying? Fall back, spring forward. That's how you look at the time change. So get an extra hour in there, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to all of you in the chat. And shout out to all my Patreon and YouTube channel members. Y'all really hold it down. I appreciate y'all for supporting the channel and the way you do. You allow me to make this channel what it is. And, you know, I'm not like other YouTubers that'll tell you you're helping this channel grow when it doesn't grow. Y'all see the growth in front of you every week. So I appreciate all of y'all for helping me, helping this channel, and allowing me to bring you guys the best live content possible when it comes to the Miami Dolphins. I appreciate all you for really, really giving me that that ability, man. I don't take it lightly by any stretch of the imagination. I take it very seriously, and I truly do appreciate all of you who make it possible. Y'all are amazing. Y'all are simply amazing. So love all y'all. Appreciate all y'all. Thank you so much for holding this channel down, man, into our 4th season right now. Appreciate all y'all. So, man, we got a lot to go over today. You know, I'm saying we're probably just going to get into it. Don't sound the alarms. No big rant today to open up the show. Skeet says, I can never hear you in your videos. I mean, I don't know, brother. I mean, I got my stuff on full blast right now. So I don't know why you can't hear me a little bit better. I can turn up my gain a little bit more for all y'all, but I mean, the audio seems pretty okay to me. Anyways, we'll keep it rolling. So let's go right now. Let's get into, like I said, we got a lot to go over. So let's start off with today. Dan Orlovsky absolutely raving about Coach Mike McDaniel. If you haven't seen it yet, this was before he went on ESPN or any of that today. This was what he posted from his, I believe it was his hotel room in Germany after he had he went to McDaniel's press conference this morning, big time media conglomerate out there. So anyways, this is what Dan Orlovsky said in regards to Mike McDaniel. Check it out.
What's going on, everyone? Out in Germany for the Dolphins-Chiefs game Sunday morning. We just sat down with Mike McDaniel. Unbelievable. Dolphins, your head coach is an absolute stud. Saw the Dolphins practice yesterday as advertised. Going to see the Chiefs today. Cannot wait. Got to spend some time with them last night as well, and will this afternoon. I wanted to share something because we just left being with Mike for about an hour, and X's and O's wise and football scheme and his stuff with Tua and Tyreek, like we'll save, certainly I will, a lot of that for the broadcast. But going into that, I'd never spent time with him. Going into it, I knew he was really smart. I knew he was really good X's and O's and football-wise and scheme-wise. But walking out of it, more impressed, or as impressive as he is with that stuff, more impressed with him when his understanding of coach and his role and the responsibility. I think like that was what the big takeaway is. I don't know if I've ever heard a coach talk the way he talks and talked about his role as head coach of this team. And to hear him talk about the responsibility that he feels, embraces about coaching and the obsession about it and the appreciation for it and how he understands how much his role is connected to everybody that he comes across within their organization. I don't know if I've ever heard a coach talk that way or felt it when he talked about it. And it was so impressive. As impressive it is to watch their tape and see the schemes, it was even more impressive to hear him talk about Tua and Tyreek and the people on their team and how important his role is and the way he sees it. And it's rare in the NFL to hear a coach talk like this. And it should be celebrated. Unfortunately, it's rare, but it should be celebrated because out of all the coaches that certainly I've come across, played for a bunch, whatnot, I don't know if I've ever heard a guy talk about the role of coaching in the NFL the way that Mike McDaniel did. It was unbelievable and one of the cooler experiences that I've had when it comes to like around the game of football. Dolphins, you have a stud as a head coach.
I mean, and it takes me back to when we got him. I know some of y'all thought I was crazy. I know some of y'all who even like me and agree with a lot of I said, I'm sure, and that have been around for a while in terms of a Dolphin fan. Some of y'all thought I was crazy. Go back, do the research when we got McDaniel. What was I saying? Was I not comparing him potentially to Don Shula? Was I not sitting up here and saying we may have found our next Don Shula? Did I not say that? And then you listen to how he talks about that, how Orlovsky talks about him. I'm telling you, that's a former NFL quarterback. And the multiple things I take away from that, one, sure sounds like Dan Orlovsky would have loved to play for Mike McDaniel, okay, or a coach like Mike McDaniel. Number two, when he's talking about the responsibility and understanding, Mike McDaniel's special in the way that a lot of coaches have ego. Even the coaches that aren't like, oh, it's my way, it's the highway. They still have ego, I mean, especially the genius coaches, they tend to have ego because when everyone knows how great they are and everyone's raving about them, it's hard just to be shy. But I've said this before. You look at Shanahan's tree. Shanahan looks like, he's got the hardest side to him, while McVay seems like a really nice guy, and it seems like McDaniel might have been the smartest of the bunch, and he might be the nicest of the bunch, and then, LaFleur and all the other guys too. But let's really focus in on McVay and McDaniel because I think they've changed. They look like they might be the most successful guys out of his tree. I know, LaFleur had a lot of success in the regular season with Aaron Rodgers and stuff. But, it just... I don't feel as crazy as some people might have made me out to be when I was comparing him to Don Shula early on. I really don't. Because you look at how offensive-minded of a head coach of Don Shula was. I mean, he didn't win with Marino. Came pretty damn close. But look at, how he won. And look at what the style of offenses he won. You go look at the Bob Greasy offense and compare it to the offense we were running with Dan Marino night and day. It's like Harbaugh, talk about Harbaugh in Baltimore. Great coach, and I've always given him props. Why? Look at how he had to win with Flacco to look at what he's had to do with Lamar Jackson. You've had to build two totally different offenses in two totally different ways with two totally different skill sets. It was the same thing with Greasy and Marino. And I mean, you look at what McDaniel's doing right now with Tua. I mean, go look at what Chan Gailey, who had been around the league for how long? He's running an ISO offense with Tua, and look at the results he was getting. Stoodsville and Godsey, considered two up-and-coming positional coaches ready for the next step together. Put together, those two minds couldn't get half of the production. Remember, I used to bitch and moan about how Godsey and because that's what I used to call them, right? Godsey and Stoodsville. Remember how they didn't even know how to use Jalen Waddle? Remember how Jalen Waddle's running 5 to 8 yard hitches and curls. Everything's get the ball to him within, in the short level of the field, not even hitting him on the intermediate level, and then let him do his work. And then by the end of the season, defenses were just collapsing around Waddle because, if you collapse around him inside 5 yards, where's he going to go? You're right. They didn't even know how to use Jalen Waddle, and we expected them to know how to use and develop Tua Tagovailoa. And that's why I go back when people are always talking about, because of the Drew Brees comparisons, people are always saying about Tua, I want to see him in a Sean Payton offense. I want to see him. And what did Reason always say? No. I want to see him in a Mike Shanahan offense. He has the perfect skill set for a West Coast offense and what they like to do over there. Lo and behold, where are we at right now? Right? This was always the offense that what Tua was built for. And I've said it before. I said it yesterday. I've said it before. I'll say it again. We saw better play last year, and we've seen better play this year from Tua Tagovailoa compared to Matt Ryan's MVP season in this offense. That's just a fact. And he had Julio Jones. So I don't want to hear no Tyreek because he had Julio Jones in his prime. Julio in his prime. So what are we talking about here? Okay, Julio was, for a 3-year period, the best in the biz. All right? So, and then here's the difference between Shanahan and McDaniel. That offense got up 28-3 on the Patriots, and they ended up blowing the lead. Shanahan got up on Mahomes, blew the lead. Well, that's because Jimmy G couldn't make a throw, but still blew the lead. McVay has won it. Can McDaniel follow suit and win it himself? I think he can. I'm going to tell you this right now. Mike McDaniel, and I'll probably catch flack for this, could be like, who built him? But it don't matter who built who. It matters what the individual offers. Okay? Mike McDaniel, this is going to be tough to say because I respect the hell out of Kyle Shanahan. I do. I respect the hell out of Kyle Shanahan. Mike McDaniel's a better play caller and play designer than Mike Shanahan. You can tell he's smarter. Even Shanahan has been in awe. We've all heard it. Shanahan's been in awe of the motion he's been used, McDaniel's developed with this offense. Even Shanahan has been in awe of what McDaniel's been able to do with this offense. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. And I stand by it. Just like I told all y'all that were jumping out of your seats, give it 8 weeks. Wait till this defense comes together. And here we are. Smart enough to go get Fangio, the way he does. I'm just telling you. Mike McDaniel, I said it when we got him. I'll say it again. We got the brightest apple on Shanahan's tree. And now I'm taking it even further. He might be I think he's brighter than Shanahan. And Shanahan's a genius. But I think we got like a effing savant. I think we got a football savant. If you want my honest opinion, I think we got a football savant. The guy's there at like 4 o'clock every morning. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And Chris Grier better send him, oh my God, he better send him flowers and chocolates on Christmas, on Easter, on Valentine's Day, because Mike McDaniel's going to save Chris Grier's job. Because we all knew what the deal was. It was almost a package deal with Grier and Flores out the door. But Grier was on board with everything Stephen Ross was about to do and sided with Stephen Ross in the end. And he basically said, yes, man, yes, sir, no, sir, to keep his job. And he was given one more shot. And Mike McDaniel turned Tua into a franchise quarterback, and not enough people are talking about it. He's going to help save Chris Grier's job. That's what he's going to do. So, Mike McDaniel, I can't say enough things, good things about Mike McDaniel right now. He's an absolute stud. like Orlovsky said, and he's the best coach we've had since Don Shula. Don't y'all remember the first time we saw him in the shades? I'm like, oh my God, he actually is Don Shula. Remember that? Holy. Anyways, he's the best coach we've had since Don Shula. I'm 2 years in and I'm saying that. I don't care. Do not care. People try to say, oh, well, Flores had 10 wins, and he only had 9 wins last year. Look at his roster. Are you kidding me? Do you think Flores would have won that game against the Jets with Skylar Thompson at quarterback? Do you think Brian Flores and his staff would have got us into the playoffs? Godsey and Stoodsville or Gailey would have got us into the playoffs? The rotation we had at quarterback between Tua, Bridgewater, and Skylar last year? We wouldn't have finished with a winning record. Let's not be delusional right now. And now, look at it. We're 6-2, chance to go 7-2 heading into the bye. Guys, if we're 7-2 coming out, there's 8 games remaining. And if we only win 4 of those, we're still an 11-win team. Now, we're going to win 4 of those. That's ridiculous. I told y'all, I predicted 14-3. I said on the low end, this team is a 12-win team. On the high end, it's a 14-win team, 15-win team. And by God, I think we're gonna be a 13 to 14-win team this year, even if we lose on Sunday. Just saying, man. Mike McDaniel is the best thing, and I remember people in this community making videos trying to compare him to Adam Gase. Y'all remember I used to sit up here and rant on that about how people out here weren't doing their research on him and they're out here comparing him to Adam Gase and Joe Philbin? It's pathetic. Now they all love him, though. Now he's the greatest thing since life. But I don't forget. I remember who did it. I remember when. I remember it all, baby. I don't forget. So, listen. Man, I wanted him as our OC the year before we got him as a head coach. I wanted him or Pep Hamilton. And we ended up going with Godsey and Stoodsville. I'm just saying, man. This is special. Like, we are on the precipice of something special. And I ain't talking about just this year. Wait till Fangio's defense in year 2 or year 3. If they can find to make money work and supplement talent through the draft properly. Wait till Fangio's defense in year 2 or year 3 where he starts bringing in a little bit more of his guys. Man, we could be on something special on the horizon, baby. Let's get into it because I got a lot to go over. We got to go over the weather report. We got to go over everything. We're going to get into the injury report. We're going to do it all. Now, the thing here is, too, I do want to say this. I got to put this out there. I got to let it be known. We're going to get into a lot more. We got the injury report. We got our matchup to watch, how they compare. I'll go over my offensive keys. But then we got a little bit to go over after that. I want to talk a little Tyreek Hill. I want to talk a little bit about the offensive line. And before we get into all that, just in case anyone ever tries to tell you Tua is a one-read quarterback, I want you to come to this channel, show them this portion of the video, and show them this chart. Just before we get into everything, okay? Through 8 weeks, this is the QBA's EPA on first read. EPA's expected points added. So Tua Tagovailoa, if you look at this chart, what does this chart tell you? Tua Tagovailoa currently has the highest EPA on the first read out of any quarterback in the NFL. But if you look at the bottom here, the percentage of throws to the first read. Look at this. Should we start naming names right now? Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Ryan Tannehill, Matthew Stafford, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Desmond Ridder, Mac Jones. They all throw to their first read at a higher percentage than Tua Tagovailoa. My boy Sam Howell, same. Lamar Jackson throws to his first read more than Tua Tagovailoa. Bryce Young, Jordan Love. In fact, there's not even 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. When you look at this chart, there's not even 10 quarterbacks in the NFL right now who throw to their first read less than Tua Tagovailoa. Real talk. There's 8 to be exact. 8. So when people start spreading these false narratives and these lies because they don't know how to watch film and they don't know how to watch football and they're casuals in over their head acting like they're smarter than they really are, show them this. And then on top of this is Tua not, are you... You're trying to get your first read open in the NFL. That's why the NFL defenses, they scheme to take away your first read. Because that way the ball's out of the out of the quarterback's hand the quickest. It's the preferred route concept and target on the actual play design. So what are we talking about here? So if anyone says, hey, Tua just lit, all he does is throw to his first read, show him this. Show him this. Because by my math, there's about 23 quarterbacks who throw to their first read at a higher percentage than Tua Tagovailoa. What are we talking about? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay? Absolutely destroying another narrative because that's what we like to do here because we know ball over here. I'd already destroyed this narrative when I had JT O'Sullivan up here, and I've already destroyed it myself with the film work, but now we got the analytics. Randy says, I'm from the reason tree. I love it, baby. Listen, we produce more smart minds than Bill Belichick. Reason, if we hadn't got McDaniel the year before as our OC, he and Flores may have clashed because Flores didn't want to and Mike seen the talent. And guess what would have happened? They would have fired Flores' ass earlier in the season, and they probably would have promoted Mike McDaniel to head coach. Boom. That's exactly what would have happened. That's exactly what would have happened. Just saying. Just saying. Flores cost us the playoffs, too. Remember, Tua Tagovailoa left the lead against, he left the field against the Falcons with the lead. All the people who are hating Tua said we had a championship defense that year. Why couldn't our championship defense and Brian Flores, who led it, stop them on that final drive? Hell, the week before, he lost us the game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's embarrassing. The only victory Urban Meyer had as a head coach was because Brian Flores was a dumbass on the final drive and let them get off a play they had been practicing all week so then they could kick the game-winning field goal against us. Brian Flores, if we would have won, and then remember, they were back-to-back, the Jags and the Falcons lost. If we would have won either one of those games, we would have been in the playoffs that year. Think about that for a second. And you can literally pinpoint those to last-minute coachings. And the haters in the Falcons game will try to say, well, Tua threw 2 picks. Are you crazy? Do you not remember the fourth quarter that kid had? That fourth quarter was phenomenal. The guy threw 4 touchdowns in that game. What are we talking about? Tua was crazy in that fourth quarter to give us the lead against the Falcons. But the haters will say, oh, but he threw 2 touchdowns. Well, that don't matter when you give the lead. When you give your defense that's supposed to be championship caliber the lead with 1 possession remaining in this game for the Falcons, they're supposed to take care of business. And hate to tell you it, but championship defenses finish that game out. And a good head coach, and it finishes that game out, especially when he's defensive-minded and he has a championship caliber defense. Thank you very much. Was not Tua's fault we lost either one of those games. And if we should have won both of them, and then we would have been convincingly in the playoffs that year. Not squeaking in by 1 game. So, I guess I did get a rant a little bit in the end there. Heading into the Week 9 game between the Dolphins and the Chiefs. This is what it's looking like. It's going to be about 52 Fahrenheit And there is a chance of a little rain. I mean, a good chance. There's a 75% precipitation probability right now. The wind is going to be at about 15 miles per hour out of the southwest. It's going to feel like 45. So it's going to be football weather on Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be football weather brought to you by Frankfurt, Germany. Let's go. No Wiener Schnitzels allowed in pads this game. And that's going to make it even more key for this team to find balance with the run game. And Lord knows I'm not ready for another 52 play Tuesday breakdown. My Lord, have mercy on my soul. Please, I pray for it. All right, continuing on. Injury report. Now, the Dolphins have only released their injury report up until when I went live here. And this is what we're looking at right now. Robert Hunt is out. We'll talk about that in a second here. Brandon Jones is out. He never even traveled with the team. He was in concussion protocol. Taron Armstead, Braxton Berrios, Justin Bethel, River Craycraft, Xavier Howard, Nick Needham, and Durham Smythe, as well as Connor Williams, are all listed as questionable, and they were all limited in practice this week. Now, sticking with the injuries here, from Daniel Oifusi today, Robert Hunt will be out. Mike McDaniel also said this morning Robert Jones would be the starting left guard. So Lester Cotton would seemingly be the option to replace Robert Hunt at right guard after doing so versus the Patriots. So I'm led to believe this is probably going to be the look even if Liam Eichenberg starts. Even if Connor Williams starts. I apologize. If Connor Williams starts, I think there's a good chance it's Robert Jones and Lester Cotton, not Liam Eichenberg. Me and Omar talked about it yesterday. They seem pretty locked in on the center. Now, I had heard early on when Wynn got hurt that it could be potentially that because of playing time and such, if Connor Williams came back, Eichenberg was going to get a look at guard. But I think given what they saw from Lester Cotton and Robert Jones last week, I don't think they're going to take them out. I think they're going to keep them there. Now, people wondering about Kendall Lamb, unless he's itching to play, I think he's just going to remain the swing tackle for right now. I think that's the play. Now, again, I'll check right now, but up until this point, from what I understand, from what I know, the official Kansas City injury report wasn't out yet. So let me see if that's changed right now. Hold on, give me a sec, guys. Let me check that if that's changed. Friday. It has not changed. It has not changed. It is still not up for me. So. I guess, we'll know I'll go over the inactives on Sunday for both teams, so you guys will know for their side. Dolphins coach combo is awesome. Vic, old school professor, and Mike, the new school innovator. I love it, man. I love it. It's crazy. I said it before. You look at it like McDaniel in terms of like genius, right? McDaniel's like the young offensive genius mind, while you look at Fangio, he's the grizzled, older defensive genius mind. It's a great combination, love it. I really do. It's a good combo. And man, you know what, boys and girls, this defense is going to hit its stride in the second half of the season as we're heading into the playoffs. Oh, baby, oh, baby, oh, baby. This defense hasn't even hit its stride yet, ladies and gentlemen, and it's going to hit it when we're heading into the playoffs. Oh, health permitting, this team is, ladies and gentlemen, this team is going to be scary in the second half of the season. Scary! 6-2. With the injuries we've battled? Guys, if you aren't hyped, oh my God. And if we win this game and we got home field advantage heading into that bye, and we control home field advantage because KC goes into a bye as well with us. If we control home field advantage coming out of that bye, I only see 3 tough games on the schedule. Okay? I see Dallas, which we can beat. Buffalo at home, we can beat, and we will beat. And who's the other one? The Ravens. Now, do I think the Jets may play us tough? Sure, but I expect us to handle our business. So, man. I know the intro says it, but it's a beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan, baby. So here's how these two teams stack up. Right now, we have the number 1 offense in Miami going against the number 4 offense in Kansas City. The number 1 passing defense, courtesy of Tua Tagovailoa, taking on the number 3 offense, courtesy of Patrick Mahomes. The number 1 rushing offense against the number 21 rushing offense. I mean, 150. I mean, we're averaging 46 yards more per game than them right now. 46. 46. I'm just saying. That's quite the disparity. Quite the disparity, if I may say so myself. Anyways, continuing on here. Scoring offense, the number 1 scoring offense is going up against the number 12 scoring offense. We are averaging 33.9 points per game. They're averaging 23.4 points per game. Love it. Love it. Love, 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 love. And then third down offense for the Chiefs against the number 10. You got the 4 against the number 10 in terms of third down offense. And then sacks allowed. Our offensive line has allowed 12. They've only allowed 10. So look at this. The number 1 and the number 3 offensive lines in terms of sacks allowed. Keep looking at that sack number because it's going to get interesting as you get into the defense. Now the defense. The Dolphins are the number 15 total defense. My, how far we've come since these numbers looked after the Chargers game. No? Remember? Do y'all remember where we were? Do y'all remember where we were in total defense after that Chargers? If you take that Chargers defense out right now, that Chargers game out right now, where are we standing as a total defense? We're top 10. Passing defense, but they're 4, so they got a good defense right now. They're 4, but it's gonna be interesting to see if Nick Bolton might be out, and I'm just saying, this would be a battle of a higher ranked defense against a top ranked defense, a top 5 defense. If we didn't have that Chargers game skew these numbers, seriously, take in. I'm including the Bills game, but if you take out that Chargers game where we got gashed on the ground, just saying. And you'd have to take 34 points off. So you got the number 16 passing defense against the number 2 passing defense. They're only allowing 176.1 yards per game. 176.1 yards per game. That is no joke, ladies and gentlemen. That is no joke whatsoever. They're doing good right now as a defense. I mean, you can see the numbers right in front of you. I mean, you look at them and you just look at like them from a coverage standpoint, right? I mean, they're not, only Jalen Watson is really getting cooked when you look at them. Only Jalen Watson is really getting cooked. Brian Cook he's a safety getting cooked. But when you look at the corners, though, Like, they're doing decent. I mean, L'Jarius Sneed has 305 coverage reps, and he has not allowed a touchdown yet. Trent McDuffie has 307, has not allowed a touchdown yet. So, they're not as easily exploitable as some might think. So, they're getting it done as a passing unit. Now, rushing is a different story. They're allowing 111.6 yards per game. And again, if you take that Chargers game out, where are we right now? Since week 1, so since week 2, sorry, if you look at this team right now, since week 2, this team, they are getting it done, all right? Since week 2, remember, they are allowing 78.7 yards per game and 3.5 yards per carry. They're good. Scoring defense, they're only allowing 16.1 points per game. They have the second best scoring defense in the NFL. And then you got us at 25th. We're allowing about 25.5 points per game. Sacks, we're 4th. We're getting 27. They're 2nd. They got 28. So look at this. You got the number 3 offensive line in sacks allowed. The Dolphins, the 3rd best. They've only allowed 12. The Chiefs are the number 1 best. They've only allowed 10. But you got the number 4 defense in getting sacks, the Dolphins, and the number 2 defense in getting sacks, the Chiefs. They're tied with the Bills, I believe it is. We're actually 3rd. They're putting us at 4th because you have a 2-way tie at number 2. You got the Chiefs and the Bills both have 28. 3rd down defense, again, a good battle here. We're 11th. Only allowing a conversion rate of about 37.5%. They're allowing a conversion rate of about 37.9%. So just slightly off. Takeaways, we got to get better here. We only have 8. They have 12. If we get to a point where we're taking the ball away at least one time a game, man. Now, giveaways. They've given the ball away 16 times. We've given the ball away 12. So there are the chances for turnovers in this game, especially for the Chiefs. They're the 30th in terms of offensive rank in giveaways right now. So, I mean, you look at it, Patrick Mahomes, he's thrown 8 interceptions. Blaine Gabbert has thrown 2 when he's been in there. You know what I mean? So they've turned the ball over. Now they've got 4 fumbles from their, from just rushing the football, I believe. Their unit has 4 fumbles rushing. I know Patrick Mahomes has a fumble himself. So, I know Marquez Valdez-Scantling has a fumble this year receiving. So, the receiving core has 5 fumbles, and their running back room has 4 fumbles as well. So they do turn the ball over. All right. And then you got, 8 picks with Mahomes. So you do the math. They're averaging about 2 turnovers a game right now. Which, again, let's get some turnovers. Right? They got 16 giveaways in 8 games. Let's get some turnovers. All right? Now, let's get into my offensive keys to victory for the Miami Dolphins. Number 1, is this Tyreek Hill's revenge season? I mean, we'll look into it later. I'll play a video for you, but ladies and gentlemen, Tyreek Hill has a special celebration plan for them. This is his revenge season, I think. I mean, Tyreek Hill looking to have a big game against, I'm going to tell you this right now, he's going to put up a touchdown against one of those corners that doesn't allow a touchdown yet. All right? That's about to go down. Let's be real here. So I think, this is Tyreek Hill revenge season. He didn't want to leave. The man did not want to leave KC. He's happy where he is now, obviously, but he didn't want to leave. And, This is one of those games where he's had it circled on the trenches. All right. Number 2, this is a potentially big day for the running back room. Potentially big day for the running back room. Like, they're allowing 111 and a half yards per game right now as a defense. And when you look at the running backs they faced, look at what Javonte Williams did to them last week. Javonte Williams, he had 87 yards. He had 85 yards rushing. Jaleel McLaughlin had 33 yards. Russell had 30 himself. Denver had 153 yards rushing last week on 40 carries. That was huge. Huge. They are exploitable if you can run the football. You go back this year, look at when Detroit beat them. Detroit had 118 yards rushing on 34 carries from the running back room. Right? You can run the football. Look at the Jets. They barely beat the Jets. The Jets had 108 yards on 16 carries against them. So, I'm just saying, there's a chance to run the football against them. And you look what Mostert's done. You look at what Jeff Wilson was flashing a little last week. There's a chance to run the football against them. So, potentially big day for the running back room. Number 3, win the war in the trenches. I said here, they have 28 sacks, the second most in the NFL right now, tied with Buffalo. And you look at what this team is doing. Again, we've only allowed 12 sacks. But they also get pressures. You know what I mean? Right now, as a defense, they have 156 pressures right now. George Karlaftis, second year, the sophomore, he's 39 pressures. Chris Jones has 30. Drew Tranquill has 11. Mike Dana has 22. They're getting pressures. My boy Leo Chanel has 8. Willie Gay has some pressures. He has 7. They're getting pressures right now. Again, you do the math on what they're averaging. Ladies and gentlemen, they are averaging just under 20 pressures a game right now. So, we're going to have to be on our P's and Q's. They're averaging about 19 and a half pressures per game. So, you got to win that war in the trenches, man. They got some guys. And you know what? With Teron Armstead and Connor Williams potentially back, because that's what it looks like it's trending like, I like our chances. I like our chances in the trenches this week. I really do. I really do. I'm not lying. I like our chances. Now let's get into the defensive keys to victory for all of y'all. Mahomes is going to Mahomes, but you're going to have to limit the big plays. And that kind of follows into the second one, which is containing Travis Kelce. Now, I've got Jerome Baker on this right now because if you look at Fangio's tendencies, Fangio likes lining up Jerome and a linebacker. Now, you'll see, we've seen Eli Apple here and there. But he likes, covering them up with Jerome Baker. He likes tight ends on Jerome Baker. And you got to contain Travis Kelce. If you look at last week against Denver, Travis Kelce, they had Jaquan McMillan, their slot on him. They had Pat Surtain, obviously the boundary corner on him. They had Josie Jewell on him. They had Fabian Morrow on him, another corner. They had Alex Singleton, another linebacker. So they had, and PJ Locke on him. So they had a slot corner, both boundary corners, 2 interior linebackers, and a free safety cover him. It was a team effort last week to limit Kelce to, and you got to limit him. I mean, he had 8 targets, 6 receptions, 58 yards. And Jaquan McMillan got a pick on one of the targets. Josie Jewell had a pass breakup. So, because Mahomes is going to Mahomes, but you got to limit the big plays, and the big plays are going to come through Kelce. You can't let him get going. You just cannot afford to let him get going. And I know there's been a lot of talk about potentially Jalen Ramsey on him. And, I agree with this. The last time Ramsey faced the Chiefs, when he was a member of the Rams last year, he covered Travis Kelce for 7 pass plays. He was targeted 3 times and gave up 1 completion, a 39-yard touchdown. He was also in coverage for an interception, though. Giveth and taketh type of situation. But, I mean, Jerome Baker and, that's one of his biggest weaknesses. You know what I mean? Like, that's easily one of his biggest weaknesses. Now, last week on Hunter Henry, we had Brandon Jones, Kader Kohou, and Eli Apple. But on Mike Gesicki, we had David Long, Kader Kohou, and Jerome Baker. So we had our 2 interior guys and our slot guy on Gesicki. Right? And then, you look at, like, when we faced Dallas Goedert, for example, right? Who was on him mainly. Eli Apple had 3 reps, and then David Long and Jerome Baker were also on him. So Dallas Goedert saw his fair share of the interior linebackers as well. And the other thing here is, man, you can't let them extend those third downs. You cannot give Patrick Mahomes in this offense extra downs. You just cannot afford to, ladies and gentlemen. Their offense is converting at a 47.1% clip, almost half of their third downs. But you just can't let it happen. You can't let it happen, man. Please. You look at when they put up 41 points against the Bears. They were 10 for 14 on third down. All right? You look at, they're just too good. They're just too good, right? They were over 50% against the Chargers when they beat them. They were 6 for 11, right? They're just too good to let them extend drives and do what they got to do. I mean, look at what the Broncos did last week. The Broncos had them 3 for 10 on third down. They couldn't convert to save their life on third down last week. And look at what happened. They couldn't put up a touchdown. They settled for field goals. Got to get off the field on third down, man. So those are my offensive and defensive keys for this weekend. Now, check this out. My matchup to watch, it's Mike McDaniel versus Andy Reid. Who's got their team better prepared? Mike McDaniel had them out there since Tuesday. I believe they got there late last night with Andy Reid. If you've been following Joe Shad on Twitter, Joe Shad tweeted this morning, he just started to feel normal. And it's now Friday. And they flew out there around the same time the players did. So, shout out to EM Dolphin fan. EM Dolphin fan, he lived out that way, and he said it's just a different feeling when you go out to Germany, and even in Europe in general in that area, and you got to adjust. So who's going to have their team better prepared? And really, this is a matchup of, I'm going to say it. This is a matchup of the two of the three best offensive-minded head coaches in the NFL, two of the four. McVay and Shanahan, I think, are the other two in that upper tier with these guys. But I think this is their first ever matchup against each other. And I think, Andy Reid, everyone knows he's one of my favorite coaches. And Mike McDaniel is my favorite coach. So this is a great matchup from just an offensive mind and genius perspective. What a matchup. What a matchup. Who's going to have their team better prepared? Huge matchup. So that's my matchup to watch. Now, my predictions. Well, before we get into the predictions, look at the history of these two teams. The Dolphins have not beat them in the last three tries. Yet before that, the Dolphins won 3 tries in a row. And look at how this has gone over the last 10 meetings. 2 for the Dolphins, 2 for the Chiefs. 3 for the Dolphins, 3 for the Chiefs. Looks like that streak's about to break. If we're playing the history odds, that streak is about to break over their last 10 matchups. And I think it's going to. I am taking the Miami Dolphins 38-34. I think we're going to see another shootout. I think we're going to see a good one. I think the run game is going to get going for both teams. And it's just a little bit of drizzle. Ain't going to stop these offenses from being high-powered. I think we're going to see a shootout here. 38-34, that's where I'm at. Dolphins win. Head into the bye, 7-2. I think they win this game. I actually wouldn't be shocked if we won like 27-16 as well. I think we win this game. Now I'm feeding y'all with a fun game on the 38-34, but there's a chance this team wins by 10 plus points given the advantage of where their bodies are at. How this team, listen, this team they've been holding guys out specifically for this game. Specifically for this game. They've been eyeing this game. What do you think they've been eyeing with Connor Williams and Teron Armstead and getting Xavier Howard healthy over the last couple weeks? This game right here. And Javon Holland's back. Deshaun Elliott's healthy. Now we don't have Brandon Jones, our top depth safety. But we have options back there. We're going to see that healthy secondary with everyone in their position. I mean, good God, ladies and gentlemen. This team internally has been eyeing this game. And they're about to bring it. So that's what I'm taking us with a win. All right? And then I forgot to. I got to give Tyreek his due, huh? Shout out to Tyreek. He was named Offensive Player of the Month in the AFC. Absolute stud. Tyreek Hill, just a special player right now. Man, the best receiver in the world. I don't care what anyone tells me. And I loved me some Ricky. And I loved me some Danny Boy. But, man, if he ain't better than Dan Marino in terms of the best player to ever wear these colors, he's right there with Dan. He's just a special, special player, man. I still think Tua is going to win the MVP and Tyreek Hill wins Offensive Player of the Year. That's how they're going to split it up. He's special, man. We're going to see over 2,000 yards with this man. I mean, when have you ever, I see what Jade said there right there. And I agree with it. So let me bring it up on the screen here because I got to say this because, you're 110% right. All right? You're 110% right. And I believe I said this last year too. You're right. He's worth every penny. But how often can you say that in the NFL about a player with an annual average of about 30 million? How often? Think about that. That's not a quarterback, by the way. Let me add that. How often can you say a player is worth 30 million-ish and they're not a quarterback? Special. Special, special, special. Absolutely love that player. Absolutely love that player. I'm trying to get, he's the next jersey your boy's copping. And listen, Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill, I mean, they're just special, man. They are just special right now. We hadn't gone over in a couple weeks, so I wanted to show all y'all where the Dolphins lie in pass pro. They've dropped down from 3 to they're now number 10. Their PFF grade 80. Their SIS score is 96. Their ESPN pass block win rate is about 28%. So, that's what's holding them back from getting higher in that top 10. Their pass block win rate is not that good. That shows you the trigger of Tua Tagovailoa. But they were 1, then they dropped to 3. Now they're at 10. When you look at pass pro ratings, when you take a compository score between PFF, Sports Info Solutions, and ESPN. And from a run block standpoint, here's where they are. They have fallen out of the top 15. They are now at 23. PFF grade, not that great. Sports Info Solution, not that great. But on the flip side, their run block win rate is what's holding this up. As look at their run block win rate. They actually have like a top 5 run block win rate when you look at them just from an ESPN standpoint. So we are number 10 in pass pro, 23 in run blocking right now when you take compository scores. We hadn't looked at that in a couple weeks, and I wanted to go over that and show you guys that because it had been a while. And then I know I usually do the chart, but this is easier for you guys to read. When you look at percentiles, when you take EPA per play over offensive grade right now, and this speaks to this weekend we're heading into, Josh Allen, by a hair, is currently the most efficient quarterback in the NFL. Tua Tagovailoa is a hair behind. He's number 2. And Patrick Mahomes is a hair behind Tua at number 3. And then Brock Purdy's well behind all 3 of them. And then Dak Prescott is well behind all 3 of them as well. But, man, you got a matchup this week of the number 2 and number 3 quarterbacks in terms of efficiency heading into this week. While you also, for only the second time ever in the last 50 seasons, you have a matchup between the current season's leader in pass yards and pass touchdowns, Tua Tagovailoa, against the previous season's leader in pass touchdowns and pass yards, which was Patrick Mahomes. The only other time it happened, 2001, when Kurt Warner faced off against Peyton Manning. And Kurt Warner won that game, the NFL MVP, and then made the Super Bowl that year. So, man, absolutely huge stuff heading into this game. I can't wait, man. I know y'all can't wait in the chat as well. Man, it's going to be a fun one. Remember, I'm going to be live, ladies and gentlemen. Expect me around 9-ish, 9:15-ish. I'll be in between there. It's an early one. Bring your coffee, whatever you got. Bring your waffles, whatever you're beating Belgian waffles because we're in Germany. Bring them. All right? Bring whatever you're doing. You're going to have some brunch. You're going to have some breakfast. You have an early lunch. Whatever you got, you bring it. And we're going to be watching that game early on, man. It is going to be fantastic. Shout out to JJ's Box Break Locals. Appreciate you, man. I got some Mosaic football and some 2023 Topps baseball update series, a hobby of each, to open tonight. I'll let you know how that goes, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, do me the favor. It doesn't cost you a thing. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you are new. All of you that did donate. Randy, Franklin, Dad Dean, I appreciate you. Scotty Joe, you donated yesterday. I got the donation from you. Appreciate your PayPal donation, Scotty Joe. I got it from Joseph Sheffield. Appreciate you. Appreciate you coming through and donating the channel. Patrons, I will have a 3 takes video for y'all tomorrow night. Look out for that. And guys, just smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. We were just above 100 away from hitting 13K. Let's get that W this weekend. Let's head into the bye, controlling the AFC, baby. If anything breaks tomorrow, I will be live. I will go over all the inactives for both teams on Sunday morning, so y'all will be caught up. And if you want a good parlay, that's paying right now, take both Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle on the under for receptions. I believe Tyreek 6.5, Waddle's 5.5. Take them on the under, okay? On alt receiving yards, take Tyreek plus 120 and take Jalen Waddle 100 plus yards, all right? Right there, $10 is paying over $6,000 on that, okay? $5 is going to pay you $3,000. You want to really ball and put $100,000 on that? Sorry, $100 on that? It'll pay you $63,000. Smash that parlay, baby. I took it. You never know. Remember, I won on Hill hitting the low on the parlay. So smash those, and you might as well throw a touchdown in each of those. So hit those parlays, baby. Love each and every one of you. See y'all on the next one. Appreciate y'all. Smash that like button. And as always,